My name is Andiswa. I am a final year medical student at University of Cape Town and I am an award-winning content creator, well known for my journey of becoming Dr. Andy. I am from Pumalanga in Gomazi in a small village called Emadati.
Can you share a bit about your upbringing and how it influenced your decision to pursue a career in medicine?
Okay, so I grew up, as I've said, in a small village, Emadati, raised by a single mother and my grandmother, who was a nurse at the time. I have been a child who was like so inspired by people who, come out of the village and become a better versions of themselves. And I wanted to be that one day. I was dreaming beyond my situation because where I come from, there were little resources and little people to look up to. And I wanted to come out of that situation and be something better. And what influenced my decision to become a doctor, I think it started in high school when I was in grade 9 and I was interested in, natural sciences, biology. When we learned about, the systems of the body, I was mostly interested on the cardiovascular system, and I told myself that one day I want to be a cardiologist. But now looking back, I think there were a lot of things that actually influenced me to want to become this independent woman. Is the women that raised me, my grandmother and my mother. I think all of them shaped the person that I am today.
What were some of the key challenges you faced on your journey to medical school and how did you overcome them?
One of the main challenges I faced in medical school was struggling. As a high school student who has been flourishing throughout her academic career, I never knew what failure was. I never knew how to struggle with a subject, with a topic. And when I got to medical school, I felt like I was not smart enough anymore. I felt like I didn't know how to study anymore. And that was the most challenging thing, to experience failure for the first time. And I didn't know how to actually adjust and accept that. But I had to tell myself that this is a different space to be. It is no longer like high school. I have to show myself some little bit of grace and learn from my mistakes and constantly try to better myself, because this journey was not going to be easy. And so I tried to learn from those mistakes and move forward.
How has your background shaped your approach to your medical studies and patient care?
I grew up in a very small village where we do not have a hospital, it's only a clinic. And I've seen how a lot of people were in need of health care and no doctors in the area. And I grew up saying to myself that I actually want to bring a positive impact in people's lives, because it's not nice to be someone who's seeking help and not being able to be assisted because there's no doctor available. So I am a person who doesn't take my career for granted, and I feel like any little impact that I do, either it is just talking to a patient or just making them feel comfortable, is really a huge thing. And I think that helps me every day to show up and be kinder to patients and to actually know that I actually bring such a positive impact in what I am doing.
Can you share a moment or experience during your medical education that significantly impacted you?
Failing in medical school, I found that very much challenging, to be able to experience like failure for the first time. And I feel like that made me see life differently, because I was a student who didn't know how it felt like to fail at something. And it made me evaluate my life and ask myself, is this really what I wanted to do? And I think it was at that moment where I asked myself, do I really want to study medicine? And I couldn't see myself studying anything else. And I think that is when I realized that actually this is what I really want to do with my life. And also I was a person who saw like medicine as my whole life. Like if you were to ask me who am I? I'll just tell you I'm a medical student. I want to be a doctor one day, and there wouldn't be anything else I'll tell you about myself. But then when I experienced that, I felt like this identity could easily be stripped away from me, and I asked myself, who am I outside medicine? And it helped me to do some lot of introspection, and after that I tried to now make medicine as part of who I am, so that I can be able to survive if should anything happen in my career, should I experience more failures, I wouldn't feel like now my whole world is shutting down, because this is the main thing about me. So it has shaped me differently, to look at life differently, and to have life outside medicine, hence content creation that I do.
So you've mentioned that you've built a successful presence as a content creator. How do you balance the demands of medical school and your social media commitments?
I get a lot of questions like that, but for me, I feel like the content that I create is so aligned with what I do. For example, if I'm going to shoot a day in my life vlog, I'm showing you what I am doing and what I was going to do eventually. So it's not content that is outside of my daily routine. So it is easy to just like do the two simultaneously, be a student and then shoot content as we go along. But when it comes to like finding time to edit and finding time to do sit down videos, that I can say, I do a lot of planning. Planning is so important. Every day when I start my day, I draft down what I would like to do, what appointments do I have, how can I maximize my time, and also I try to do stuff in small chunks. You can't finish an elephant by just one bite. You have to take small bites. So what I do is that if I have like a long video to edit, I would edit like maybe 30 minutes a day. If I have a vlog to edit, I would shoot, throughout the week, something like that, so that I can be able to, leave time for other things. And I think also it comes down to priorities. For me, I don't see a social media as just like a hobby. I treat it as another career of mine, because I value my audience and my community, and that helps me to stay consistent, because I do not treat it as just like a thing that I do whenever I feel like it. I show up to it as much as I show up with my schoolwork.
So what inspired you to start this journey in content creation?
Okay, I noticed that on social media, there is really there's a lack when it comes to content creators who create educational content. Often on social media, you'd find like education being ridiculed. They'll tell you there are better ways to make money, there are better ways to be successful. You do not need to go to school. And I found that was a little bit misleading, because I'm a young person who still believes in education. I believe that you can be successful through education, and I wanted to lead by example. I wanted to share my journey to show people how I became this person through education. And I saw that there was a lack of information when it comes to how to study, when it comes to how to qualify to university, because often we see these people become successful doctors, but no one gets to sit down and tell young people or whoever is dreaming to be where they are how they did it. And I didn't really want to just win on my own, if I can say like that, because I know how it feels to be, that young girl in a village where there are no resources, there are no inspirational figures, to feel trapped in that space. And I wanted to just be some sort of light when it comes to people, so that they can look at me and see someone who looks like them make it in life, and also not just look at me and admire me. They can just learn from me and become a better version of themselves.
Through your content, you've reached a wide audience. What impact do you hope to have on your viewers?
The main impact that I'd like to have is for people to, believe that dreams do come true. From a person, like I'm going to always bring up my upbringing and my background, because as soon as you are successful, in something, people think that you never struggled, you just woke up and it was overnight success. But I always like to say I was just a person who grew up in a village who didn't have much resources, and I was just a dreamer like anyone. Any of any of you who'd like to become something. So I want people to look at me and feel like they can also achieve their goals. I want to be sort of like a representation of, young people who come from nothing and become something in life. So I just want to be, some sort of inspiration, some source of inspiration when it comes to people who'd like to be doctors one day.
Looking to the future, where do you see yourself after completing medical school in terms of your medical career, but also in terms of your content creation?
Obviously, I see myself as a medical doctor doing my internship, my community service. I usually, don't plan ahead because, life always turns out to be sometimes way better than we plan or expect. But I can say that I do see myself continuing sharing my journey of being a doctor and continuing to inspire young people. I see myself, I'm always dreaming of doing a school tour because I feel like most of my, followers are from high school, and I always want to, go there and engage with them in person. And yeah, so more or less, I just see myself as a doctor, and I see myself continuing to do the work that I do, inspiring young people.
Finally, any advice to high school learners wanting to pursue a career in medicine or any other profession?
All I can say is where you come from doesn't determine where you are going. You have the absolute power to achieve your dreams. You just have to work hard towards them, never give up. It's not going to be easy, but if you believe in yourself and you do not forget why you started, you can definitely become what you dream to be.